This will be the first time he has ever shared his testimony. Let's please welcome Paul.
Thank you. As she said, my name is Paul Dietschy, and my wife, Maureen, and I have, unfortunately, lost one of our own children to abortion. Know that we truly regret ever having committed what we consider to be a heinous crime against a helpless, unborn human being, let alone our own child. With both of us growing in our faith throughout the years, we are also well aware that we should never have put ourselves in the position of becoming pregnant without the bonds of marriage. This was many years ago when I was 18 years old, a senior in high school, and Maureen, a 14-year-old freshman. We found ourselves in the midst of an unplanned pregnancy. I can't say an unwanted pregnancy because in Maureen's heart, she really did not want to terminate the pregnancy. But like most women, she felt she had no choice, especially at that age. I, on the other hand, when suspecting that Maureen was pregnant, was very concerned because I was 18 and there were legal ramifications. Maureen's parents could, if they wished, have me arrested. And marriage didn't seem possible, considering Maureen's age. And I didn't think her parents would allow that to happen either. When the pregnancy was confirmed, we were already at an abortion clinic. And the only reason we were there was because they offered free and discreet pregnancy testing. Pregnancy tests did not exist in the mid-1970s like they do today. When the worker at the clinic told us that the test was positive, we walked out of the clinic. We were stunned. This clinic was in Chicago, downtown. And while we waited at the elevators, Maureen broke down crying. She was afraid to tell her parents, quite rightly, that she was pregnant. Because after all, they were very strict, hot-tempered, and clueless to the fact that their very young daughter was sexually active. At that point, one of the workers came out of the abortion clinic, came to us at the elevator, and coaxed us to come back in. Maureen explained that she was terrified to tell her parents. The abortion worker told Maureen that her parents need never find out. Abortion was affordable, readily available, and there was no need to contact the parents. Although abortion was never discussed between Maureen and I when we suspected she was pregnant, it now seemed like the only option available. We scheduled the abortion for a day or two later. Personally, at that time, I didn't see anything wrong with abortion. First off, it was legal. I mean, if it was something bad or unsafe, our government wouldn't allow it, would they? I also believed that it was not an actual baby. I didn't understand that it was truly a human being. I figured it was a bunch of cells that had not taken any human form yet. I had no idea it even had a beating heart already. Maureen, on the other hand, at least understood the fact that she was about to lose a child. When she wrote her testimony many years later, she recalled having spoken to our unborn baby the night before the scheduled abortion. She was telling the baby that she wished she could keep for her. In fact, right after the abortion, Maureen was found crying in the recovery area. The abortion worker told her that she was the only one crying and that she could have other children someday. On the way home, after the abortion, I did feel relief because everything could go back to normal now. Maureen, though, was feeling the loss, but she did feel the relief of not ever having to tell her parents. In the months to come, though, Maureen expressed her feelings of sadness. I figured it was a temporary thing and that she would get over it. You would also have thought that we would have learned from this mistake, but less than a year later, we found ourselves pregnant again. This time now, Maureen was 15 years old, and she was not even considering an abortion. She reached out to Illinois Right to Life, which was running an ad in the newspaper under abortion alternatives. They helped Maureen break the news to her parents. Things were very crazy and tumultuous for months to come, but Maureen and I were married on her 16th birthday with her parents' blessing and legal consent. She was only a month away from her due date. We were able to get an apartment that her grandmother owned while awaiting the birth of our child. We were blessed with a very beautiful, precious baby girl in August of '76. I was amazed at her beauty and her tiny little features. I truly saw that God had given us a wonderful gift. Maureen was also very happy, but she also shared an incident that had occurred when she was alone in the hospital room and holding our newborn baby. She began to weep because she realized that she had already taken the life of someone just as precious. In her young years, Maureen already realized she was the mother of two. One was alive and one was dead. We took to married life very well, considering in parenthood. Even though we were just still teenagers, I worked, Maureen stayed at home with our daughter. But she was a very natural mother. Everyone was amazed, and they remarked how well she cared for our baby. However, Maureen started to have nightmares, which is not uncommon in post-abortive women. She would dream that something bad was going to happen to our infant daughter and that we might be punished for having had an abortion. I assured her that God was not out to punish us. But then thankfully we also met with a very understanding and wonderful priest who gave us the sacrament of reconciliation. The priest assured us that God had truly forgiven us, especially considering how sorry we were. My wife and I eventually bought a home of our own and went on to have 3 more children. We grew active in our faith and in our church, and things seemed to be going very well. We very rarely spoke of our abortion experience because it seemed behind us. Little did I know that Maureen was going to experience trauma from the abortion more than 10 years down the line. After our 4th child was born, Maureen experienced postpartum depression. She became quite anxious and was worried that she was a danger to our infant daughter. The anxiety grew to a point that she was worried that she could be a possible danger to all of our children. I assured her again that she would never harm any of our children. It was not possible. But she sought out counseling, and they told her the same thing. Even though my life was experiencing this internal suffering on and off for the years, she continued to care for our family in the most loving manner. But she was plagued with the most terrible thoughts. Even though most people in the mental health field might chalk this up to simply an emotional or psychological illness, we feel that the devil definitely played his part in it as well. Every time Maureen told herself that she would never hurt her children, she could feel the response that she had already killed one of them, pointing back to the abortion. Thanks be to God, a friend put Maureen in touch with a priest at Marytown that specialized in post-abortive healing. Through several sessions with this priest, Maureen was able to find the healing she desperately needed. At the last session, we asked God to put into our hearts and minds the gender of our lost child. Believing it to be a little girl, we gave her the name Mary Catherine. We also have a memorial brick which was laid on the prayer walk at Marytown in Libertyville. It reads, "In memory of our aborted child." It is the only tangible thing we have to mark her existence, though we will never forget her existence in our hearts or our minds. In the past year, before becoming involved in Silent No More, we were asked to take part in a healing retreat weekend called Rachel's Peace. We were able to spend time with other post-abortive parents and share our stories. We were able to take the time and reflect on the loss of our child, which included writing a letter to her. We were also given a little angel to remind us of the child that we look forward to meeting in heaven one day. Though Mary Catherine lived only 8 short weeks, she will never be forgotten. For a child is a child, no matter how small. I only hope that my testimony and my many years of involvement in the pro-life movement, past, present, and future, can help change the hearts and minds of people who are pro-death. A more honest term for people who are pro-choice, since we are speaking the life of an innocent and helpless human being. I also want to speak out to all those who are only lukewarm when it comes to this issue as well. You can't stand on the fence with this one. I believe abortion is one of the worst evils imaginable. We cannot, in good conscience, sit back and ignore the plight of these innocent children who die by the thousands each and every day. For we will all be judged one day for what we have done and what we have failed to do. Please pray for the sanctity of all human life and for the conversion of those who do not hold the values of human life in high esteem, especially many of our elected officials and those who work in the abortion industry. May God encourage and empower each of us to stand up and protect human life from conception to natural death. In memory of my Mary Catherine, I thank you for allowing me to share my story with you today and for all that you do to defend and protect the gift of life. God bless each of you.
Thank you so much, Paul. I could use a few tissues. I'm sure a lot of us in the congregation could as well.